My brothers and sisters, every one of us has something we're dealing with. Some people battle silently, others struggle openly. But remember this, having difficulties doesn't mean there is something wrong with you. It means you are human and Allah is guiding you through your own unique journey. There are moments when life feels heavy and you wonder why things aren't working out. You might think others have it easier, but wallahi, everyone has their own test. Allah in His infinite wisdom gives each soul exactly what it can handle. The fact that you are still standing today is already proof of your strength, even if you don't feel it. When you face struggles, it doesn't mean Allah has forgotten you. In fact, some of the most painful moments become the greatest doors to closeness with Him. Sometimes the delay is protection. Sometimes the closed door is guidance. Sometimes the hardship is purification. Don't underestimate the power of a sincere dua whispered in the middle of your tears. Don't underestimate the peace that comes from a few minutes of prayer when your heart is hurting. Patience isn't pretending everything is perfect. It's trusting that Allah's timing is always better than your own plan. And remember, comparing your life to others will steal your happiness. People may smile on the outside but carry storms on the inside. Focus on your own road, your own growth, your own connection with Allah. Your struggle today is not your final chapter. Allah can turn any situation around in moments. Keep going with small steps. Keep your heart soft. Keep your intentions pure. Your story isn't over. And the same Lord who helped you in the past will help you again. May Allah ease your hardships, strengthen your heart, and fill your path with light. Keep moving, keep trying, and never lose hope. Struggles are woven into the fabric of every believer's life, and understanding this reality can transform the way we face hardships. Every human being, no matter their background, their level of faith, or their outward appearance, experiences challenges. Some of these struggles are visible, and some are hidden deep within the heart. But one thing is certain: difficulties are not a sign of weakness, failure, or divine displeasure. They are part of the journey Allah has created for us. A journey designed to shape our character, strengthen our faith, and draw us closer to Him in ways comfort never could. If you think about the people you admire in history or in your own life, you'll notice that the ones who inspire you most are not those who had everything handed to them. You admire those who endured pain but kept going, those who were tested yet refused to give up, those who fell down and stood up again. Even the prophets, the most beloved to Allah, faced hardships far greater than we can imagine. They dealt with rejection, loneliness, illness, loss, and fear, yet their hearts remained firm. Their struggles didn't lower their status. In fact, they elevated them. That alone shows us that tests are not a punishment. Sometimes they are a pathway to greatness. When a person begins to see struggles in this light, the experience shifts. Instead of feeling defeated, they begin to recognize that trials are part of Allah's design. This doesn't mean hardships suddenly become easy, but it means the believer stops seeing them as random or unfair. Life is not meant to be perfect here. Paradise is where perfection exists. This world is a place where we grow through situations that stretch us, challenge us, and sometimes break us open so something stronger can be built inside. Each struggle you face has a purpose, even when it feels meaningless in the moment. You might not understand it immediately or even years later, but Allah assures us that He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. That means every difficulty in your life was measured and chosen for you specifically, not to crush you, but to help you discover who you can become. Sometimes the challenges you face are actually protecting you from a path that would have caused greater harm. Other times, struggles reveal strengths you never knew you had. And in many moments, difficulties push you back toward Allah when you may have drifted without realizing it. It's easy to assume that people around you are living better, happier lives, especially when all you see are the smiling moments. But nobody's life is free of tests. Someone may be struggling with their family, another with their health, another with their studies, another with faith, and another with their sense of self. Some people hide their hardships so well that you would never guess what they're fighting behind closed doors. That's why comparing your journey to someone else's is unfair to both of you. You don't know their tests and they don't know yours. When you recognize that struggles are universal, your heart becomes more compassionate. You stop assuming that someone who seems successful has it easy. You become kinder to yourself because you understand that your challenges are not a sign that you're failing. They are simply part of being human. You give yourself permission to work through things at your own pace without feeling embarrassed or defeated. You also become more patient with others because you realize everyone is carrying something. Struggles can also deepen your connection with Allah in a way that comfort rarely does. When everything is smooth and predictable, we sometimes forget how much we rely on Him. But when a hardship appears, the first place the heart naturally turns is back toward its Creator. In that moment of vulnerability, your heart becomes more sincere, your dua becomes more real, and your faith becomes more alive. These moments of struggle can open doors to spiritual growth that might never have opened otherwise. This doesn't mean that struggling feels pleasant. You're allowed to feel sad, tired, or overwhelmed. Faith doesn't require you to pretend everything is fine. It invites you to keep moving even when things aren't fine. Being a believer doesn't mean life will be smooth. It means you trust that Allah's wisdom is greater than your pain. You trust that He sees what you're going through, that He hears every dua, that He never leaves you to handle your burdens alone. There will be times when you look back and realize that some of the hardest moments were turning points in your life. What you once viewed as a setback might later be the reason you became a stronger, wiser, or more grateful person. What you viewed as a loss might turn out to be protection. What you viewed as an unanswered prayer might be the reason you found something far better. So when difficulties come, remind yourself that they are not a sign that you don't belong among the believers. If anything, they are signs that you are on the same path walked by the best of humanity. Struggles are part of the journey, not to break you, but to build you. They remind you of your limits, but also of your resilience. They test your patience, but also uncover your strength. And they bring you closer to Allah in ways that ease and comfort could never do. You are not alone in your hardships. You are not being singled out. You are simply living the journey every soul must take. One step, one test, one moment of growth at a time. Hardships can make a person feel lonely, confused, or even forgotten, but one of the most important truths a believer must hold on to is that difficulties never mean Allah has abandoned you. The human heart often interprets pain as a sign of rejection, because when something goes wrong, the mind quickly asks, why me? What did I do wrong? Why isn't my life like other people's? But in reality, the presence of hardship is not a measurement of your worth, your faith, or your connection to Allah. Instead, it is often a reminder that Allah is closer than you think, guiding you through moments you might not understand now, but will eventually see with clarity and gratitude. There are times when a person is doing everything they can, praying, trying to be good, treating others with kindness, yet something painful still happens. In those moments, the heart may whisper, if Allah loves me, why would this occur? But love from Allah is not expressed by giving a person a smooth, challenge-free life. If anything, His love sometimes appears through the very tests He places in your path. Think about someone who wants to strengthen their body. They don't grow stronger by resting on a soft couch all day. They push, lift, stretch, and endure discomfort because they know the pain is part of becoming stronger. In a similar but far more meaningful way, the soul becomes stronger through spiritual, emotional, and personal challenges. Hardships can be powerful reminders that this world is temporary and imperfect. If every single thing in life went exactly the way you planned, you would start to depend entirely on yourself, and you might forget your need for the one who controls everything. When life shakes you, it often shakes away the illusions of control and brings you back to dependence on Allah. That dependence is not weakness, it is the greatest source of strength a person can have. The fact that hardship pushes you toward your Creator is actually a sign of His mercy, not His absence. Sometimes Allah takes you through a phase of life where doors close one after another, opportunities slip away, friendships change, plans fall apart. In that moment, it's easy to feel lost. But many people look back years later and say, if those doors had opened, I wouldn't be where I am today. What felt like an abandonment was actually a redirection. What felt like rejection was protection. What felt like a delay was preparation for something better. When Allah blocks a path, He is guiding you from something you think you want towards something He knows is better for you. Another important reality is that hardships expose the depth of your own heart. When you are comfortable, it's easy to feel grateful, patient, and calm. But true character is revealed when things are not going your way. These moments show you where you need to grow, what weaknesses need strengthening, and what areas of your faith need nurturing. This self-discovery is one of the greatest gifts you can be given. Without struggle, you might never learn patience, compassion, resilience, or humility. You might never discover how deeply you can trust Allah. It's important to remember that your value is not measured by how easy your life is. Some people assume that because they see others smiling or succeeding, those people must be more favored or blessed. But everyone faces tests suited to them. The person who looks carefree may be carrying their own private hardship, one you cannot see. Think of people who seem to have perfect lives, yet behind their smiles may be battles with loneliness, stress, family tension, or internal worries. Allah tests each person in different ways at different times with different intensities. The test you face is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is a sign that Allah knows you deeply, knows your capabilities, and knows what will bring out your best potential. There will be moments when you raise your hands in dua and it feels like the answer is silent. In these moments, remember that silence is not abandonment. Sometimes the answer is already being prepared for you, but you cannot see it yet. Sometimes delaying the answer brings greater reward, greater wisdom, or greater maturity. Sometimes Allah gives you something different from what you asked for because He knows it will bring more peace to your heart, even if you don't realize it now. Just as a child doesn't always understand why a parent says, not yet, not now, or not this, we also may not understand the reasoning behind our struggles. But Allah's knowledge is flawless and His care is continuous even when we can't feel it immediately. When hardships make you feel like you're alone, turn your heart toward the reminders of His closeness. Remember that He hears every unspoken worry, sees every tear, and knows every weakness and every strength you carry. He is with you in the quiet moments when you feel invisible. And He is with you in the loud moments when life feels overwhelming. He is with you when you're steady, and He is with you when you're falling apart. The presence of hardship never means the absence of His mercy. What you're going through does not define the end of your story. It is just a chapter designed to elevate you, refine you, and bring you closer to the one who loves you more than you can ever imagine. Hardships are not proof that you're abandoned. They're proof that you are still being shaped, still being guided, and still being held by Allah in ways you may not yet understand. Patience and prayer are two of the most powerful tools a believer has, especially during keen times of difficulty. These two acts are not simply rituals or habits. They are lifelines that reconnect the heart to its Creator when the world feels heavy. Many people underestimate how transformative they really are. Patience is not passive waiting, and prayer is not just physical movements. They are profound acts of strength, trust, and surrender that allow a person to navigate hardship with dignity and inner peace. When life becomes challenging, the instinct of the heart often shifts toward panic, frustration, or hopelessness. That's where patience steps in, not to force you to suppress your emotions, but to stabilize you so you don't collapse under the weight of your challenges. Patience means acknowledging your pain while trusting that it will not last forever. It means continuing to do what is right even when you're tired, continuing to believe even when things seem unclear, and continuing to hope even when the outcome feels far away. It's the ability to hold yourself together long enough to let Allah unfold the wisdom behind your situation. There are different forms of patience, and each plays a role in easing hardship. There is patience with what Allah has decreed for you, accepting events you cannot change. There is patience in avoiding harmful or sinful behavior, especially when pressure or emotions make it tempting. And there is patience in staying committed to good deeds, even when you don't see immediate results. Each kind of patience strengthens the heart in a different way. Together, they create resilience, the kind that helps you move through difficulties without losing yourself. Prayer, on the other hand, is the ultimate conversation with Allah. It is a moment of grounding, a moment where the heart disconnects from the chaos of the world and returns to the one who controls everything. During hardship, your thoughts can scatter. You may overthink, imagine worst-case scenarios, or feel overwhelmed by possibilities. But when you stand in prayer, you realign your heart. You remind yourself that you have a Lord who is listening, who understands, who cares, and who can change your situation in an instant. It's not the length of the prayer that matters, it's the sincerity. Sometimes just a few words whispered with a trembling heart carry more weight than hours of speech. Prayer softens your heart when life makes it hard. It calms your mind when worries multiply. It tells your soul, I am not facing this alone. That reassurance, that sense of being supported by the most merciful, gives you the courage to face challenges with a steady heart. Many people misunderstand patience and prayer as signs of doing nothing while waiting for life to magically fix itself. But in reality, they are forms of action. Patience keeps you emotionally stable enough to make wise decisions. and prayer brings clarity, guidance, and inner strength. When you combine them, you approach hardships with a balanced spirit, hopeful in Allah, but also willing to put in effort. Life will always bring moments where you feel stuck or uncertain. You may not understand why something is taking so long or why an obstacle keeps appearing in your path. In these moments, patience becomes your anchor. It stops you from rushing into decisions that you might regret later. It holds you steady so you can think clearly rather than react out of fear or frustration. Impatience often leads to anxiety, but patience cultivates wisdom. Prayer adds another layer. It allows you to unload your burdens instead of carrying them alone. It teaches you humility, accepting that you don't have full control, and that isn't a weakness. It also teaches you confidence, because you know you are putting your trust in the one whose power is perfect. Even if your situation doesn't change immediately, prayer changes you. It strengthens you, realigns your priorities, and sometimes even gives you insight into solutions you didn't consider before. Think about the times you faced hardship in the past. You might have felt overwhelmed in the moment, but looking back, you can probably see how those challenges shaped you. You may have developed patience without realizing it. You may have prayed through tears, not knowing that those prayers were building a stronger version of you. Every time you turn to patience and prayer, you invest in your future self. You train your heart to stay grounded no matter what storm comes your way. There will be days when patience feels hard. There will be days when prayer feels heavy. This doesn't mean your faith is weak, it means you're human. Even the strongest hearts have moments of exhaustion. But what matters is that you keep returning, even if all you can manage is a small step, a short prayer, or a moment of quiet reflection. Allah sees every effort, no matter how small. When you understand the value of patience and prayer, you stop viewing hardships as punishments. Instead, you see them as opportunities to strengthen your bond with Allah. You begin to realize that every moment of restraint, every tear shed in dua, every calm breath you take instead of breaking down is recorded, appreciated, and rewarded. Both patience and prayer remind you that Allah's help comes at the perfect time, not too early, not too late. They help you let go of the anxiety that comes from trying to control everything. They teach you to do your best and trust Allah with the rest. In the end, patience protects your heart and prayer nourishes it. Together, they become a shield that allows you to move through life's challenges with grace, hope, and strength. They don't remove your struggles, but they transform how you experience them, turning power into growth, confusion into clarity, and loneliness into closeness with Allah. Every test in life carries a lesson, even when you cannot see it. Even when the situation feels too heavy, too confusing, or too painful to make sense of. Human beings naturally seek clarity. We want to know why something is happening, what purpose it serves, and how long it will last. But the reality of life is that not every lesson reveals itself immediately. Sometimes you only understand it after months or years. Sometimes you never understand the full wisdom behind it, but you recognize the changes it brought within you. Every hardship, no matter how small or how overwhelming, has the potential to transform you in ways ease and comfort never could. When you face a difficulty, it challenges your assumptions about yourself, about life, and even about your limits. You discover strengths that would have remained hidden had you never been tested. You might learn that you are more patient than you thought, more resilient than you imagined, more capable than you ever expected. Sometimes a test shows you where you need to grow. It exposes weaknesses you overlooked or ignored. You might realize that your heart needs more softness, your character needs more discipline, or your faith needs more nourishment. These realizations can be uncomfortable, but they are priceless because they guide you towards self-improvement. Tests also teach you about dependence, not just on your own effort, but on Allah. When everything is going well, you might forget how much you need Him. You might rely on your own plans, your own abilities, your own intelligence. But hardship opens your eyes to a deeper truth. You are not meant to navigate life alone. Through trials, you learn to turn back to Allah with sincerity, to seek His help with humility, and to trust His timing with a heart that knows He will never let you down. This shift in your relationship with Him is one of the greatest lessons any hardship can give. Another lesson that tests bring is perspective. When life is smooth, you may take blessings for granted. Your health, your family, your peace of mind. your opportunities, your ordinary days. But when a challenge comes, it often reminds you of what truly matters. Suddenly, small blessings become significant again. Ordinary moments feel precious. You begin to appreciate things you overlooked. You learn gratitude in a deeper, more meaningful way. This new perspective can change not only how you see your struggles, but how you live your daily life long after the hardship has passed. Every test also helps shape your character. It can teach you kindness because you know how it feels to struggle. It can teach you patience because you've experienced waiting. It can teach you compassion because you understand pain from the inside. People who have gone through difficulties often become more gentle with others. They stop judging quickly. They understand that everyone is carrying something. This shift in character is part of the wisdom behind the test you face. Some hardships carry the lesson of letting go. You might hold on tightly to a plan, a desire, or a path you expected your life to follow. But sometimes Allah gently removes something from your life to replace it with something better. Other times He removes it to protect you from harm you didn't foresee. The lesson here is learning that surrender isn't weakness. It is trust. It is accepting that your knowledge is limited, but Allah's knowledge is perfect. Letting go teaches you humility, maturity, and reliance on divine wisdom. There are tests that teach you the importance of patience and growth. Not every change happens suddenly. Some lessons unfold slowly, day by day, moment by moment. You may feel frustrated because it seems like nothing is happening, but internally, your heart is being reshaped. Trials teach you to persevere even when progress feels invisible. Sometimes the lesson is simply to be steadfast, to keep moving, to keep believing even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. That kind of persistence becomes a lifelong strength. Tests can also reveal the true colors of people around you. Hardships show you who genuinely cares, who supports you, who stands by you, even when things get difficult. Conversely, they reveal who disappears when life is not easy. Although this can be painful, it is a valuable lesson. It teaches you whom to trust, whom to hold close, and whom to detach from. It deepens your understanding of relationships and reminds you that not everyone who walks into your life is meant to stay. Another profound lesson that hardships bring is the ability to empathize with others.